Welcome back to another episode of Simplyrobotix, the podcast. I'm your host, Monique. I am joined by J'Aaron once again. However, we have a new person joining us. Her name is Briana. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Simplyrobotix, because last time I did not say that in the beginning. Use the hashtag Simplyrobotixpod so that we can keep the conversation relating to the podcast show and the episodes, all that sort of stuff. Just be aware of it and just keep it going. So we are back to review now. This is episode 7 of Marvel Disney's What If, which is great. And shout out to J'Aaron and myself for every week consistently, watching once or twice, notes, maybe sometimes, and coming back and doing this. And we're already up to episode 7. And Briana, one way or another, found out that she was watching it. I know that she's a super Marvel head, comic hero stuff, just like J'Aaron. And do you read the comics too, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great. So this is perfect because I don't. And J'Aaron reads the comics. So I think you guys would really enjoy each other. So episode 7 was what if Thor was an only child, basically? Right?
Yeah.
And
I feel like they should have retitled this episode. It should have been Give Loki His Flowers, because without Loki, Thor is basic. He's so basic without Loki.
Yeah. Even okay.
Because that was my whole irritation was Thor anyway. A wild child who doesn't pay attention to the rules and was rebellious and just wanted to party. What was the change? Nothing changed.
The change was they literally removed Loki from... Because I guess Thor was reckless and he would do a lot of stuff, but Loki was kind of like his guardrails, because he wouldn't go so far off the deep end, because he knew he had to kind of keep a close eye on his brother, because his brother literally got people killed. So he would be like, I'm a party, but I'm gonna still keep my eye on the kingdom and stuff and make sure things don't go too far off the mark. But
I believe the Watcher was hinting at basically without Loki, Thor essentially doesn't really get his moral compass, because he's just,
He was a man-child.
I felt like he was a man-child in the first Thor, though. The Thor that we saw, I was just I can see these two being the exact same person.
He's
reckless, running.
Man-child, dude, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the episode starts... I don't remember how it starts.
Can we touch on this real quick?
Yes.
The Watcher wasn't watching this episode.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
He wasn't watching either.
Don't blame him.
Watching. Nobody was watching.
Because, when every episode starts, it's usually they show the galaxy and then they zoom in or whatever universe they're in, and you always see him in the stars. He wasn't there.
He was in the beginning, but he didn't appear again until the end, where usually we've been seeing him kind of, here and there throughout, what you're saying.
Usually there's a shot of them going somewhere, or there's some type of transition, and he's there just kind of watching it all unfold. He wasn't there.
No.
There was one point where he peeked over France and was like, okay, and then went on whatever he was doing. He literally turned away. We've never seen him do that.
Because would you rather watch this? Would you rather watch Doctor Strange destroy his own universe?
Literally watch any other timeline in this moment, because this was So I don't really remember. Oh, I think it's just showing that how Thor being an only person, that's how it starts off, that he doesn't kind of become who we've seen him be in the movies.
Right.
So he's dude bro, partying. He's supposed to be studying and learning and all sorts of stuff like that. And when his father passes, the mom decides she's gonna go to visit her sister, whatever. She wastes no time dipping, and Thor was you know what, I'm gonna go to Asgard and I'm gonna throw a massive party non-stop. And we do see the two women, I don't know their names, I don't remember anything about Thor really, from the Thor movies. So the one quirky intern girl,
Darcy.
I love Darcy. I actually really, really like her character. And then the other woman,
Jane?
Yeah, maybe something similar to that.
Jane.
And the one that Thor ends up, that Thor ends up really enjoying. So, so they're scouting for alien presence. they see like this beam coming. They're like, the last time a beam like this came, and not came to Earth slash Asgard, came to whatever Midgard, I think it's called. That's what Earth is, right?
Yeah.
Midgard. So the last time some sort of alien presence like this touched the planet, it destroyed the planet. So they're trying to warn Shield, all this sort of stuff. Shield is like, you guys are always, doing whatever with this alien nonsense.
2 things. Eric Selvig, the other scientist that was actually in the Thor movie, wasn't in this for some reason.
Correct.
And then 2, she knows about S.H.I.E.L.D. in this universe, whereas in the movie, she didn't know what S.H.I.E.L.D. was. Like, her first time hearing about S.H.I.E.L.D. was when she first met Coulson.
Right.
So I thought it was interesting that she already knew who S.H.I.E.L.D. was, and she was, like, fussing with the call center. And they was like, girl, bye.
Maybe it's because Thor did definitely blow up another planet, like, traveling, and that's what, like, sparked her radar. And that's why she knows about S.H.I.E.L.D. because she reported it before. Or she reported it to someone who reported it to S.H.I.E.L.D. before. So that's how she got on the radar.
Yeah, it's evident that they have like an established relationship, her and S.H.I.E.L.D. So she and Darcy Jane and Darcy go to see what's at the end of this. And by the time they get there, it's like this rave happening, which seemed like Las Vegas at one point.
Yeah, they were in Las Vegas. But I also read that due to like, there's some type of clause in animation that they can't duplicate Vegas. So it's like Vegas themed, but it's not actually the Vegas Strip. Like there's some copyright infringement that they can't actually copy the Las Vegas Strip.
Okay. That's fair. So Jane and Thor kind of like have this like lock eyes romantic moment that's kind of like weird and unnecessary. We see a lot of the people from Guardians of the Galaxy are there, right?
There were a lot of
cameos. Yeah,
this episode was mostly cameos.
Yeah, then there was the alien people from Captain Marvel were there too.
Skrulls.
And Thor was like making them all change into him.
He's that
and I was just like, okay. Yeah, and I was like, J'Aaron had texted me right before I watched the episode, and she was like, meh. And then like 10 minutes in, I was like, oh, girl, I completely understand why you said that. I completely understand. So we fast forward a bit, and Jane is just telling Thor, like, he has to go. Like, he can't do this to Earth or whatever. And Thor's like, relax, we're just having, like, a party. And she ends up partying with them. Jane and Darcy.
Because she finds out the last party he threw on another planet literally ended that planet.
Yeah. Like, this is him. This is the guy.
She was like, but she's so in love. She was like, but nobody got hurt, right? He was like, yeah, we made sure the goat got home.
Right.
I was like, bruh, you incinerated a whole planet.
He's not.
And then there was another cameo of that duck that was in the T'Challa episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think they're warming people up to a Howard the Duck something.
Yeah.
He's making way too many appearances because before you used to just see him and stuff, but he would never speak. You would just like see him in the background. Now he's like speaking and he's interacting like with main characters.
Yeah.
Although he was in Endgame, he was holding like a giant gun when all of them were walking out of those portals. You could see a little Howard the Duck.
He was also in I think it was I can't remember which Guardian of the Galaxies, but he was in like their little place where they go to
the Collectors place.
Yeah, he was with the Collectors.
Yeah.
I have to like watch a YouTube video about all his Easter eggs because I've never seen him before this series.
People credit, which I understand why, people credit Blade as the first Marvel movie, but it was actually Howard the Duck. But it was so bad that nobody like talks about it.
Yeah, let's just forget about it.
Because this was back when they used to do like instead of doing CGI and stuff, they would put people in suits. So think like the original Ninja Turtles, like the live action Ninja Turtles.
I love those movies though.
They did a Howard the Duck version, but Howard the Duck looked terrifying. You should go look it up.
I believe it. I'll look it up in the morning though.
Nobody pays attention. So we just start with Blade.
Yeah, I think it's also why they start with Blade is just because Blade was a successful one. Like you're saying, Howard wasn't. So Blade just sparked the interest in like, oh, we can try more properties, all that stuff. So yeah, so they're partying and we see that this wild night is transparent.
You see how we just got off topic because we didn't care about the episode that we closed.
Yeah, I know. This is gonna be a short episode, but we're trying.
Some power.
Darcy actually ends up getting married to Howard in the midst of everything. First off, she was like, please don't talk to me. And then like 3 minutes later, they're at the chapel.
Okay, question. the Elvis that got them married, is it me or did he look like what is it? Ego? Um
I don't think I would have recognized.
what's his name's dad? That was the planet.
Oh, maybe they
Who's the
removed
actor
the
that played his
vowel.
dad in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Russell
Peter
Crowe.
Quill's dad.
Was it Russell? It's not Russell.
Russell. That Elvis looks like him to me.
I did not even know who married them.
Oh. I was paying attention to everything but Thor.
Kurt Russell.
Sorry. Kurt Russell. Yeah, that
I was just saying Russell Crowe.
Elvis.
That'd be interesting in a rewatch. So what else was happening? Yeah, so they have like a wild night.
They get matching tattoos.
They do get matching tattoos. Yeah.
She got magic and he got science, which is a reference to the movie because he explains to her that what they reference as science in his world is considered magic, but they're both like one and the same or something like that.
Yeah.
That's cute. So the next day, we see Jane essentially wake up in a hotel room, and they kind of do a pan around, and like Rocket is in the sink.
And he looked like he caught a bad night.
Yeah, he had a blast. Thor is like, I don't know, on a chair on the floor. There's people sprinkled around the room. Jane is not answering her cell phone. The hotel phone is also ringing off the hook, and she's fumbling because someone is banging at the door. And she opens the door, and it's someone. No, it's a standing head of S.H.I.E.L.D. that comes to the door because something happened to Fury at the party the night before.
He's still in a
Korg like body slammed him or something, trying to do a dive in a fountain.
That man's
completely bum rushed him.
Yeah. So she's like, remember you were calling us about some like alien contact coming to Earth? Yeah, we need you to come with us so we can figure this out. One way or another, she goes and she's up in the S.H.I.E.L.D. spaceship and they're all talking, and whoever this temp Nick Fury lady is, she's like,
I think it's Hill.
Yeah, it's Hill. She's like Fury's second hand.
Yeah.
Well, she's like, we gotta like basically exterminate these people. We gotta get them out of here.
She was like, they got to go. They have been evicted.
Yeah. So the other guy, I don't know the S.H.I.E.L.D. people's name, he comes with this like trunk case thing, and we see the Captain Marvel beeper, and she kind of wastes no time, whereas Fury hesitates. She's like, no, we are pressing these buttons on this beeper.
Well, the reason she ain't wasting no time is because in the meantime, while all this is happening, Thor did sent out like the ultimate party invitation. So not only did they wreck shop in Vegas, they over in France. They done broke Lady Liberty's arm. Yes. They didn't put they didn't messed up the four white men in the mountain. They didn't put ice. Mm-hmm. They just wrecking shop all over, and they're starting to notice. And it's all kind of alien creatures showing up. So she's like, all right, y'all gotta go.
It's spreading.
Right, and they show us a map, and we're seeing the little dots where all these alien parties
are throwing an invasion, but they're invading to party.
Party hard too.
It sound like a problem, but it's a problem when they don't care about your decor and like
it's like they chose Earth to be their spring break.
Well, they said that it was like the backwoods of the solar system, so they really didn't care. They were like,
oh yeah, because the whole reason Thor is there is because his daddy didn't went to sleep. And his mama was like, I'm going to go party, but my partying is just going to be wine and cheese and not destructive like your Piper party. Because they both were just like, I'm out.
Maybe this is another thing of him not having Loki to like rein him in. But I remember in Avengers and in the first Thor movie, I think, like Thor loved Earth. Like it was his domain and it was his to protect. And now he's just like, oh, this is a backwoods. Like we don't care. We're going to destroy it. So I wonder was it Loki who made him love Earth or who like made him feel responsible for Earth, because now he doesn't care. But in the Avengers, he was like, Earth is mine and I protect it. And that's one of the reasons why Loki went after it, because he was.
Oh, well, you remember the first time he got sentenced to Earth, it was like he got grounded, like he got in trouble. So he was there for a whole different premise.
Right. Yeah. So what's happening now?
Hate on Earth.
They call Captain Marvel. As she's arriving, we see Loki, who's not the Loki we've come to recognize, and with the help of the Loki series, enjoy. We see him because Thor's father, whatever his name is, took him back to the aliens, so he grew up with them, and he grew up, and he's this
Loki the
tall blue.
Frost Giant.
And he
Exactly.
flourished.
Which we actually saw in the Loki series. There's a moment where they show, like, they go through the different variants of him, and there is a Frost Giant version of him.
Right. So, I really
And
enjoyed
he's well adjusted.
Loki.
Yeah. He cracks.
He was fun.
He's easygoing. He's not uptight. He's hanging with his crew. He's destroying things. I'm destroying the entire movie.
Also, he's not a runt. Because I think the whole reason of him being abandoned in Thor was because he was a runt. Because he was technically supposed to be a frost giant, but he was basically the same size as the Asgardians.
He was little, but he's not little. Was it because was he always a runt, or was he just a runt because he was raised on Asgard and they weren't feeding him?
No, when what's his name? When their dad found him, he was a runt. They literally left him to die because he turned out to be a runt.
Okay. Well, yeah, so Captain Marvel shows up, and it's basically on site. They just start fighting. They say a couple words, but...
She wanted all the smoke.
Yeah. She was like, you have to go. And he was like, no, I don't. And she was like, yes, you do. And he was like, no, I don't. And then it was just hands everywhere. He had his hammer thing. He was knocking her up with it, like letting it hit her in the back of her head.
With it. Like,
It felt very much like siblings or cousins arguing. Like, Mama said you need to go home. I'll do what I want. Cool. Now we got to fight to the death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and their fight was going all over the place. They were ending up in different countries.
It was funny when she knocked him to the UK, and then he knocked her to like Utah or something.
They literally were going all over Western civilization fighting. And then basically she gets defeated, so to speak.
He drops Mjolnir on her chest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She can't lift it.
Right.
Was that a thing? Because was that a thing still that no one could lift the hammer but Thor? Because that only happened because did he get banished?
So it's always been that no one can lift the hammer because it's his. But when he got banished, the extra caveat was not only can no one else lift this hammer, you can't lift it either until you become worthy of it.
Okay, that was where I was.
It's always been that no one can lift the hammer but him.
I was thinking, did Thor get banished to another planet? Was there a whole other storyline that we don't know about?
Who knows? I
don't want to know.
So, Captain Marvel basically ends up back at S.H.I.E.L.D. in the sky in the ship, and Hill's coming up with another plan, saying, "Oh, I thought you were it," and she said, "Yeah, I could be, but I'll destroy basically a big chunk of Earth if I were really to hit him like I want to hit him." And Darcy's like,
she's like, "I will literally wreck this planet if I go full power."
Right. And Darcy's like, "Well, you can take South Dakota."
She was like, "Don't nobody know what the Dakotas are, let alone that they still exist." And I'm just like, she's right. I have never thought about North or South Dakota until she mentioned it.
We don't need it. Just go destroy Thor over there. So they basically come up with another plan that requires like bombs and all sorts of stuff like that.
They was gonna nuke him.
Well, Captain Marvel didn't know that though, per se.
That's the messed up part.
Yes. Hill had a backup in case Captain Marvel failed again, that she was gonna nuke the area. But Jane has an idea, which is to contact Thor's mom, basically telling on him, like, you need to come get your kid.
That's when I was like, and you want to date him? You gotta call his mama on him, but I can't. Do better. Well, I want it better for her.
Let's give it up for mamas, because mama's alien, black, white, human Earth species. Mama's reign supreme.
Yeah, she was tired. She was like, I finally get to go out and have some me time,
and I gotta go up in the street.
Cut her time short. So so Jane,
my baby.
She said, "What?"
Jane talks to his mom. His mom's like, "Okay, like I'll be there." She actually messages, like projects.
She FaceTimed him.
She FaceTimed him. It was like, "Hey Thor, some girl just came over here and is telling me that like you acting up. You're somewhere where you're not supposed to be."
You know what this reminded me of? It reminded me of when your mom told you to take the chicken out or take the fruit out to defrost beforehand, and you didn't. And she calls you to let you know she's on her way, and now you got to scramble to try and defrost.
You got like 15, 20 minutes tops
before she's gonna be on you. Because what were you doing?
Yeah, I mean that's exactly like it. And Thor tells her like, "No, I am basically down here on doing like a cultural exchange type of thing,
Yeah.
like submersing myself in Earth culture." And she's like, "Well,
She's
I'll
like,
come
you
see for
lying.
myself."
We finna find out.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I felt like it took her forever to get there. Because
Yeah.
the time it's taking her to get there, he's having roundabout conversations with these alien party goers. He's telling them to stop,
His
party's
friends
over.
ain't loyal. They was just
Yeah.
like, it's your
Loki said
problem. We
that's not
going
my
home.
problem.
He's
Loki
like,
was
oh, she
like,
can
I
come in. He's
said
out.
you're a brother from another mother. Like, she's not my mom.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh.
Oh yeah, that's all the smoke for you, but
You,
I'm going home. I have a
he was like,
cousin.
I'm going to continue to make this slingshot out of this thing in St. Louis. And
Mhm.
they're taking the wheel that's over in, I don't know, was London or
Yeah.
something?
That was when I was like, God, fix it. Because if this
Y'all
people
out of
know where they're
pocket.
going,
Y'all so disrespectful.
So disrespectful. They were
breaking things.
literally destroying everything. So, I think he did some hammer
Called
spin
on the
thing.
thunder from down under.
Yes. To basically tell everybody, like, no, listen, before y'all leave, and it doesn't matter where y'all go, but you gotta get out of here. Y'all gotta help me clean up.
And he
And
was
you
like,
gotta
my
help me
mama
with
not just
this.
coming for me. She coming for all of us. And when they heard that, they was like, wait, Bricker coming?
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fix it.
So, long story short, they all pull it together. He got some chalkboards. He has like a books. They're all sitting down on the floor. He's pretending to teach them. And his mom shows up and she's like, I guess this does look like a study group, huh? And she's not buying it. But Captain Marvel shows up and gives him a tablet with some information on it.
Mhm.
And she makes a couple like comments that's very easy to read into that, like, mom, he was up to no good. He was out here acting a fool, but he pulled it together for you. And then he calls his hammer, and his hammer has like Mardi Gras beads,
And
and
his hammer is Party City.
it has graffiti and stickers and all sorts of stuff on it. And I feel like that was the episode.
No, that wasn't the
No.
episode. But then also, did y'all
Oh,
peep that all the people that were left in his cultural exchange were all human presenting? So like,
Okay.
what's her
all
name?
the aliens.
Gamora's sister. All of them bounced. It was only the
Yeah.
Sure did.
human. It was only the human presenting.
Honestly, I was like, Nebula, why are you here? Isn't your daddy like a tyrant? Like he let you go to Earth to party? He
No,
took
I
your
don't think
eye,
so.
honey.
He did.
Yeah,
Because she was gambling, saying like she needs a new eye.
yeah. Like Gamora. I mean, Nebula is missing pieces, but
We
your daddy
haven't
let
seen
you go to
Gamora
Earth
at all in
to
this series yet.
Oh, so
party?
that should be in the next episode then.
Speaking of next episode, he after he does the tablet thing and Mama basically finds out he was lying, he goes to Jane to essentially apologize,
Oh, right. Yes.
and I guess they apologize, whatever. And he tells her he really likes her and blah 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 blah.
It's
He
like,
just,
well,
baby,
it
we
doesn't
cool or
matter.
whatever, but we're moving on
Yeah.
to the next thing. They about to leave, and the Watcher's like, so I guess everything was good. He had his party, he learned his lesson. Everybody about to split up and go home, and then a portal opens up, and something that looks like a fusion between Ultron and Vision.
I thought it was Ultron at
It
first.
had Ultron's body, but it had Vision's face,
Well,
Mm.
and he had
Ultron
the
was
Mind
supposed to
Stone,
be in
and he
Vision.
had all of the other stones.
Yeah, he had all the other
Yes,
songs.
But they,
yes.
instead of them being in a gauntlet, they were like embroidered in his chest.
Yes. What were
So
you saying, Brianna?
maybe this because Ultron's, I mean, Vision's body was supposed to be Ultron's body, but they snatched it before he could take it.
So
So
I'm
maybe
wondering
this
if
is
he's coming from a universe
where
where
he
he
is
achieved
Oh.
it.
Ultron, yeah. And he's just snatching up, going to different people's universes, which stay in your
Mm.
own. Mess up your
Which is
own.
crazy because if he did, that means he wrecked Wakanda. Because I think the one thing he needed in Ultron to make it work was he needed vibranium. That's where they were heading. That's where Vision was. I mean, that's where Ultron was heading. He
He
needed
needed more.
vibranium to power up to fuse himself with Vision. That was the only thing
Oh,
strong enough.
I thought he made the body. See, I glazed over Age of Ultron except for the beginning and the end, unlike little chunks in the middle. But like the storyline, I was just like, sure, I'll
Because
watch
he
it.
made he made Vision's body using
Was it
Tony and
drawings or
Hulk's
like? Oh,
tech, but he
yeah.
needed
Mm.
vibranium to power the machine that was going to transfer him from the Ultron body to the
Hmm.
Vision
Wow.
body. and he was trying to get that vibranium, and that's the one thing they were trying to stop him from doing. But as far as he got was, where did Wanda and them live?
Sokovia?
Sokovia. That was as far as he got. But all I'm saying is there's a universe where Wakanda is in danger. That's the second universe where Wakanda is in danger.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't like it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So
zombie, zombie, what's his name? Purple Great Man.
Zombie Thanos.
I was in Wakanda. I was like,
I know.
Also, the Watcher was not watching this whole episode just like the rest of us, because he turned around like, what? That was the funniest part to me. He literally was like, I didn't see that coming. I'm like, that's your job.
Impartial, like he doesn't care. It washes over him. And so he was like, y'all are getting reckless down there. Calm down.
But also, I've been thinking about this because they keep showing the trailer where they do like that Avenger like circle.
But it's
I'm like, Killmonger and Star-Lord, T'Challa go end up meeting. That's gonna be awkward.
Yeah, because you definitely killed me. Like 200%, you killed me in another life. But okay.
J'Aaron is very committed to the fact that these episodes are going to connect at some point.
If these episodes don't connect, I might explode.
Well, there's a lot of theories
it's all for nothing.
Were good that just never happened in these shows, but like that, I feel like that would be a good setup for the next Spider-Man movie, because if there's not multiple Spider-Man in it, this is gonna be the second Spider-Man movie in a row that I'm gonna walk out of upset. Or
I still haven't seen the other one. Which one did you walk out of?
Far From Home. I didn't walk out of it. I just walked out upset at the end of it. I did not like it. I didn't like it at all.
I think that's the one that I need to watch.
Yeah, that's the one you need to watch.
Okay.
To literally watch the last 10 minutes.
I hear Far From Home messed up a lot of stuff.
I just didn't like it because the acting was weird. Like there was scenes when his friend would be like, "You have to save the world," and I'm like, he knows this seems like forced dialogue. This wasn't like this in the first movie. Who's the writing team? Because it changed and I don't like it. Second of all, I'm going around a rant because that movie could have had it all and it didn't. It just said, I have it all and I'm going to throw it out.
Sidebar. I think whoever his best friend is, Spider-Man's best friend, I think he's going to become a villain, because I've been following his social media and he has lost like 100 and something pounds. He's on his way. He kind of looks like a villain now. He's doing the whole, he shaved his head bald.
Is that
he's giving Lex Luthor vibes.
I wonder if that's because I haven't been reading any Miles comics, but his character was originally Miles's best friend. They were roommates in like a boarding charter school.
They were.
I haven't been keeping up with Miles. I'm so sorry, my baby. But now I'm wondering, is that a storyline in the comics that Genki goes bad?
Well, in every version of Spider-Man, his best friend always ends up turning on him.
I hate it though.
No matter who it is, his best friend always ends up. He either finds out his best friend is like the son of the villain, or his best friend ends up becoming the villain.
Well, that can happen. If this is a multiverse Spider-Man movie, he can be that.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. Like, they could use this mini show to introduce us to all the worlds colliding and what that would look like on a smaller scale, and then make it a bigger scale with the Spider-Man movie, and then make it even worse with Multiverse of Madness. Or that's
what I feel like is happening. I feel like they're giving you the filler, so when you get to the movie, this is where we at. Let's get moving.
But it feels like that. But knowing Marvel, they're not going to give it to us, because I wanted so much more out of WandaVision, and I didn't receive.
No. I want to double back. Sorry to cut you off, J'Aaron. What I'm saying is, with Tom Holland's Peter Parker, best friend, losing weight and looking like a villain, to your point, his movie is going to have multiple timelines within it. So in one timeline,
you're saying in one timeline he can like veer off?
Yes, because that's how come I would like to. I think I'm understanding where you could get the older Spider-Man, because it's all these different timelines crossing in his movie.
I honestly feel like they're basically going to make a white version of the story they told with Miles Morales.
No, I just reject that.
I don't know if that's based on something, but that's.
Instead of multiple Spider-Man, we're going to get multiple villains. I think that's what they're about to do.
that theme is based off of a really bad comic book run. Do not read it. Everybody hated it. I think it was One More Day, and then after that it was followed up by One More Moment, where it was after Civil War when Peter told everybody, "Hey, I'm Spider-Man." It ruined his life because of course it did. You're 16. You're a
Duh, you
child.
idiot.
Like, but nobody was thinking for him except for Tony. But Tony doesn't care. It's fine. It's Tony in the comics. So his life is ruined, and he goes um to Doctor Strange and was like, please fix it. And Doctor Strange was like, this isn't going to work out the way you think it will, but I'm going to do it anyway because reckless. And he tries to, he like starts regretting because he's like, no, I want my friends to know and I want Mary Jane to know. I want my aunt to know. And he was like, you're messing this up. And it ended up destroying everything.
Because he
So,
tells him the wish, but he doesn't give him the specifics. Also, I
yeah.
finally watched the trailer, Monique. I don't think that's
Oh.
Doctor Strange.
Hmm.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
Mephisto like everybody else has been saying, but I don't think that's Doctor Strange.
Somebody said that it might be the Elseworld Doctor Strange, like the evil Doctor Strange that we saw before. It might
But
be
it's not
him.
the original Doctor Strange from the movies that we know because
No,
it it
something's wrong.
it,
It's
it
the way
makes
he acts.
absolutely no sense for him to go through what he went through with Endgame, see how high the stakes are, and then turn around and be like, "I'm gonna make the whole universe collapse just because I feel like it."
Mm.
And he still has the Eye of Moto, the thing that was holding the time thing in it. He's still wearing it in the trailer, but it
What
was
stood out
destroyed.
to me is his hands weren't messed up. Because remember, from all them surgeries he has, he
Yeah,
literally has like they
smaller
look like
size
tattoos from
ones.
afar, but all of
Mhm.
those incisions they did on his hands trying to steady, he doesn't have those. Like his
Mm.
hands look. They make it a point in whatever he shows up in to show you that his hands are jacked. Like he'll
See, that
never
Mhm.
get
just
his
makes
hands
me
back,
think
and
more
they're
and more.
always trembling. Like even when he does magic, so when he's doing that spell, his hands are in like pristine condition. And I'm
Mhm.
like, he's not gonna go through all that trouble with magic to hide the fact that his hands don't work.
Yeah, that
Mm.
makes me think more and more that it's the Elseworld Doctor Strange, and he's
A
just doing this
variant
because
Doctor
he's
Strange.
yeah, it's the Doctor Strange that we saw in What If, and he's just like, well, I want your universe, so I'm gonna like slap your spite your, or I'm gonna
Mhm.
like hide away your Doctor Strange because he was acting weird too. He wasn't acting the way Doctor Strange usually acts. Like he was like jokey and grinning, and I'm like, Doctor Strange don't like nobody. What is
But
Right.
wrong with
also,
Right.
Doctor Strange's his whole purpose is to prevent stuff like this from happening.
Yes, he
So
would
he
never
would have
do
saw
it.
Peter coming from a mile away, and as soon as Peter would have walked up, he
Right.
would have been like, "Nope, go
Right.
home."
The
Right.
only
Right.
reason why he
Also,
does it in the comics is because he talked to other people. He reconvened with other people, and they said just do it for now and keep an eye on him. And he was reluctant, but he did it anyway. This guy, he was like, yeah, sure, come to the bag. We got all the spells you need. What? Like that's not weird.
also, I'm gonna be that person in the comics. Strange. It's also I also don't think that's strange because I'm gonna go back to WandaVision. When Wanda was conjuring up all that magic, Strange never showed up. That's usually the first. Soon as he notices something that doesn't belong in our or Earth's hemisphere, he shows up, and him and Wong remove it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Wanda and Strange are what you call nexus beings. So no matter what reality or what time frame they're in, they themselves, like
Through
Wanda
other
can
like,
move through different
universes, right?
universes or different
Yeah.
portals and remain unchanged. And Strange can do the same thing, even before he became the Supreme or whatever.
Right.
So
Right.
the fact that he's acting so different, I'm like, this is not him. But also, I hate Marvel trailers because they're one big lie. They be
Because
lying.
there's that clip of all the Avengers running in the Endgame trailer with Thor there, and he wasn't there. He wasn't there. That's not that
I
scene
knew
is
it was a lie because I'm
really
like,
out of
y'all
place.
won't go through the effort of making a Hulk movie. So I know y'all didn't spend all this money just to make him run in the trailer.
But they did because they don't like us.
They're
It's fine. It's
liars.
fine. Just lie.
Well, I want to take that comment and bring it back to the What If series because Jaren,
We did.
you keep bringing up this comment of the trailer and this Avenger assembly thing.
Yes, with the
So what if it's a lie?
Right. Because I'm just, but I'm also like, what is that detrimental that the watcher will have to pluck all of those because he's if he does do that, excuse me, sorry, if he does do that, he's literally breaking every rule and code that the watchers have.
but
So
the
I'm
Watcher
like,
does
what
that.
is that detrimental for him to be like, I'm gonna break all the rules and push y'all all in the same space, because I'm like, it can't be Gamora. Gamora's not that big of a threat. Gamora will probably do like Strange and ruin one universe, but I can't see her figuring out how to ruin them all.
I want it to be Kang. Like,
And the TVA also told us that the stones are only important to the universe that they're supposed to exist in.
Right.
So even if she did gather all the stones in her universe, she can't do nothing with them outside of that universe unless y'all just finna break all the rules. So I'm like, what if it is Ultron?
If it is Ultron, but then wouldn't that like negate him too, because he had all those stones and they about to be useless?
Right. Because I'm like,
unless
if there's somebody to figure out how to move them throughout the galaxies, it would be Ultron.
Or maybe
I just don't think these are connected, man. I just think they just keep messing. I think they just
we want more, and then we get just below what we wanted. Oh, like I wanted black-haired female Loki, and I got a blonde. And I was like, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. It's not fine, but it's fine. Did she box dye her hair? What happened? I don't know. There's so many things about it because I love.
No,
Loki.
I think they said that because when you go back and you watch it, when they show her as a kid, she's a dark-haired Loki. I think she got older because she was the one Loki that did not want to be a Loki. So she went through, like, she cut her hair short, she dyed it blonde. If you notice, up until the point till she gets to the TVA, she doesn't wear anything that remotely like that Loki would wear. She only starts wearing, like, she only starts taking on the Loki persona when she runs into that Loki, until she runs into our Loki.
I don't know.
So I don't know. I feel like we need a Kang episode in this series.
No, that's
there's going to be a second season.
No, we need
Kang now. We need Jonathan Majors right now. I think that the thing that's gonna make
I just want to look at it.
Like, I think the thing that's gonna make the Watcher pluck all of them together is Kang. Like the Watcher's gonna be like,
you want to see the Watcher shook? Throw Kang in the mix.
It's gonna be Kang. It's gonna be Kang.
He's gonna be like, oh,
not this again, because the Watcher's probably seen it before, because he's seen everything and will see everything.
I also want to see more Watchers, because there is a collection of Watchers. He's not the only Watcher.
I think he's
There are female presenting Watchers too.
I think he's just assigned to Earth, and which that's got to be raggedy, like
ghetto.
Yeah, I'm looking at the ghetto all day, but okay.
Because she even references it. She Jane in the episode, she references but when she's looking at the solar system or the stars, she basically says like, either I'm crazy or this is somebody else's solar system.
Yeah.
And then enter Thor.
We have seen other Watchers though. There was a Stanley, I was gonna say Stanley Tucci.
At the end of Infinity? No, was it not Infinity?
Was it one of the
first Avengers?
Was it? Maybe
that's when Thanos was trying to backdoor everything, and he sent Loki.
Yeah.
And basically, I don't know how, but Stan Lee's character gets to the place where Thanos is at, and Stan Lee is basically like telling all of the Watchers everything that happened.
Like, I've done this and I've done that, and the Watchers looking at him like, "Girl, okay, we actually have a job. I'm not even supposed to be here, but cool."
Right? It was like, so Stan Lee's an incel now. He's just telling it all.
Yeah, just lying. I know he lied. It's fine. It's fine. I don't know. I want it to end with the Watcher bringing everyone together because of Kang and it not working. Like them, like Kang defeating them and then moving on to, because that's Kang's thing. He goes to different timelines and different universes.
He basically resets everybody's universe.
And then collects a little city in like a bubble. Mm-hmm. I think it's like Kangopolis or something like that. It's so ratchet. It's fine. I hate the name so much, but he's like frozen cities and like in his own little like giant city. Like there's like a Sphinx in there at one point, and he just collects them because he's a megalomaniac. And I think that that's the thing that's going to get the Watcher's attention, is him snatching places from different universes and collecting them like a weirdo.
Because I think the one thing, if I'm remembering from the comic, but it's a little hazy. If I remember the one thing that Kang like says is like, even I can only mess with time up to a certain point. Like Tony Stark says it in one of the movies, like if you mess with time, eventually it begins to mess back. So Kang like figures out little ways to like, I guess, go through backdoor time. Ooh, so supposedly in what's our universe, that little in Ant-Man and the Wasp, that little, like when he went
The
inside of
quantum
Quantum,
universe. Yeah.
supposedly that's where the TVA is supposed to be, and that's why nobody has been able to detect Kang.
Well, I want to say that according to this little graphic that I have, which was almost correct, the last episode should be Ultron Infinito. And that's the Ultron that we saw in the Party Thor episode in tonight's episode.
See,
Or
they're gonna
He
end
got
it
the
this
with
week's
red
episode.
shot.
Ultron.
Yeah, so he looks like Vision, like you're saying. He's looks like he's holding. I don't know. He's not holding. What's his name? Thanos is whatever, but he's holding some sort of sphere gadget thing, and he's in all metal, which could be vibranium. We don't know that yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be
it's
true
not
that Ultron
vibranium.
is the reason that everyone gets summoned.
Yeah, and then
Not the
I
king.
saw like a snippet of a trailer where Party Thor, and Doctor Strange Supreme are talking to each other. And then I saw another clip where Strange is talking to Peggy Carter. But I'm like, y'all be lying.
Peggy Carter?
Mm-hmm.
See, they're gonna end it with Ultron. I'm gonna be sad because I wanted Kang again. But all right.
This episode was fun. I get it. It was fun and it was lighthearted, and it did have some funny moments. But it felt too fun. But I also get why they did it. Because I think they switched the episodes.
They
They switched Killmonger and Party Thor, but I get why they did it, because they've been getting a lot of feedback that, one, apparently they're not getting the views that they want on the show, and then two, it was too much of a Debbie Downer, and with everything going on right now, they was just like, give them something lighthearted. Give them something lighthearted.
This episode was supposed to be episode 5, according to this graphic.
Ooh.
So before the zombies and before the Killmonger episode, right after Doctor Strange.
Well, after Doctor Strange, we kind of needed a nice episode.
That was heavy. I think that was their darkest episode. I think Strange was the darkest episode.
Yeah.
I think Killmonger was the best episode we've seen so far.
Yes, indeed.
And then this was just like the happy episode. I loved seeing all of the callbacks. So I like seeing what's his name from Thor with the spear, and
Heimdall?
the guard that kept wanting to kill everybody.
Oh. He was in Ragnarok, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I don't remember his name.
James Jeff Golden plays him. But like, we saw everybody. We saw Krog, we saw Nebula, we saw the Skrulls, we saw Captain Marvel, we saw Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we saw
A lot of
Fury.
people. So we saw a lot of people.
Yeah, there was like a lot of callbacks. I liked seeing Frost Giant Loki.
Me too.
Yeah. Just a well-adjusted, happy to party Loki, because angst.
Well,
I'm curious to see how this Gamora episode is going to go, because I'm like, if you led with such a happy episode, that means the next episode is about to get real. It got to be.
Yeah. And it's going to be the last 2 episodes, so it needs to end on a high note, I think.
It's gonna I've let it go. It's gonna disappoint me. I know it.
You scared me.
I know it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna wrap up this episode. We did better on time than I thought. Briana, no pressure, but would you like to share some of your social media if people want to reach out to you, or do you? No, okay, that's completely fine.
I get nothing of substance. I mostly just complain. Don't follow me.
That's fine. Then that's Briana, everybody. J'Aaron, share your social media.
You can follow me at J'Aaron Merchant. If you just search it, you'll find it. It's J'Aaron Merchant on all platforms. You'll see me pop up every blue moon.
Yes, you will. I actually think I did see you. Was it on Twitter? Did you like say something?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I disappeared back into the shadows.
Like the Watcher. You can find me on all social media platforms at Simplyrobotix, website simplyrobotix.com. Also, Patreon is a thing. I actually saw a tweet earlier this week just about how a lot of content creators are kind of starting to pull away from putting all their content essentially just straight on Instagram and Twitter. And I'm definitely one of those content creators that's going to be starting to cater a bit more to my Patreon. So that's just that. Thank you so much for joining me, ladies. Thank you for being accommodating. This was fun. I always love doing this. I always love it, and I'm just so happy that there's an animated, relevant superhero thing happening that I could be a part of, and it just works within the context of my show. So
yes, thank you so much for having me. This is
yeah,
it's like
you
the
gotta
highlight
come
of my
back.
week.
2 more weeks, J'Aaron.
I feel. Oh God.
All right, there. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.